it's not just a climate emergency. Right? Climate is the canary in the coal mine. Climate is the single most deadly aspect of what we're doing to the world right now. For us, it's actually not the single most deadly aspect of what we're doing right now for most other species. Right? The main drivers of biodiversity loss, in other words, the main drivers, to put it in simple English, of animals being killed in the wild is land use change. In other words, habitat destruction. In other words, we are taking down the forests and turning many areas into deserts and so on and so forth. And that's connected with climate breakdown, but it's not the same thing as it. And in terms of the way that terrible things are going on in the Amazon, for example, my home is burning, Save the Amazon Now, says the banner at the back there. The destruction of the Amazon rainforest is climatically disastrous, but in the first instance, the destruction is disastrous because we are killing animals and killing plants and destroying their homes, right now, before any effects come through the climate system. So let's be very clear, this is an interlocking multiple crisis. It's an ecological and climate emergency, and Extinction Rebellion is about all of that. It's not just about the climate. And I think one reason why we sometimes forget that is because, as I said, climate is the canary in the coal mine. Climate is the threat hanging over us as humans, which appears right now to be the most short-term to medium-term and the most deadly. But in the longer run, the ecological catastrophe and the biodiversity catastrophe, the extinctions crisis, may be just as bad for us and is worse right now already for those other creatures. So let's remember that. And how bad is the crisis? Well, I mentioned this talk of mine, which is also the name of one of my books. This Civilization is Finished. What I mean by that is that the situation is so bad that there is no way out of it now without us changing everything very fast. So it's not inevitable that this society and societies like it are going to collapse. It looks very likely, but it is not inevitable. It's not certain. We don't know that that's going to happen. But what I claim we do know is going to happen is that the only conceivable way now that we could stop a major societal collapse event, almost certainly leading to millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, perhaps billions of human deaths, let alone other animal deaths. The only conceivable way that we could stop that now is by changing everything very rapidly and deliberately. So you see my point? One way or the other, this civilization is coming to an end. It's either going to come to an end in a collapse, or it's going to come to an end because basically Extinction Rebellion wins, and not just here, but across the world. That's an incredibly high bar, but that is the bar that we now need to reach in order to prevent an otherwise almost certain multiply ramifying collapse. So this civilization is coming to an end. It's up to us collectively whether it comes to an end in a disaster that becomes a catastrophe, or whether we use those disasters that are unfolding as the basis for a radical, rapid transformation that could still enable us to prevent that kind of collapse.